Super Bad Chess Classic Romania 2025 has concluded yesterday, and we got the winner. And this winner is Praggnanandhaa. So overall, he played an absolutely awesome tournament. We'll get to the final standings after a bit. In the tiebreak, they had to determine it using the tiebreak. They played a couple of games, and then Pragg was playing the third game against Maxim Vashelograd. And let's see what happened. So it started with knight f3. So Pragg plays with white pieces, 5 minutes time control, starts with knight f3, c5, c4. So Maxim basically is saying, Pragg, you can play e4. You can go for Sicilian defense, and then I can play either e6 or d6, depending on my So the thing is, Maxim played e6 in one of the earlier games, despite him being avid Najdorf player. But that's fine. c4 was played by Pragg, knight f6, knight c3, knight c6, and now pawn goes to d4, and we still transpose to some kind of, Sicilian positions here, like let's say reverse Sicilian potentially, but still the pawn is on e2, yes, but it could be on e4, and some of the positions actually arise from Sicilian. Some types of this. Knight c4, king c5, d5. Pawn goes to b3, trying to chase this knight away. Bishop goes to d7. The idea is, of course, after b takes c4 to take on a4. That's what happened in the game. And now queen a3 attacking the bishop on a4. And as you might see, there are some certain problems on this long diagonal. Bishop goes to c6, potentially want to take on c4 and, take a pawn. Not really worry about anything. Queen e7. So queen e7 is a really important move. You really want to go for castle, but right now queen again blocks f8 square, so king cannot just go castle through this f8 square. Queen c3, d4, not d takes c4. D takes c4 is still somewhat interesting, but there is bishop a3, and that's why queen c3 was played. So bishop a3 idea, and now white just have a huge advantage despite them being 2 pawns down in this exact position. So d4 was played. Now d4, bishop a3 cannot be played. And now, yes, white almost have to take it, but first, of course, take on c6 and then take on d4 castle. And if you calculate material, it's all equal. Bishop goes to g5, c5, bishop f6. Now, if queen f6, there is queen c5, and white take a pawn, there is still a huge compensation, probably rook c8, and this pawn will eventually be taken, because queen b2, this pawn should be ideally a draw. But g takes f6. In those types of positions, g takes f6 is not really a mistake, because white only have queen, who can attack the king on this open g file. If, let's say, white had some bishop on h6, yeah, then we can talk about king safety, but in the following case it just doesn't matter, because queen alone cannot checkmate this king, so it would need to activate rook somehow and get the help to his queen. But it's kind of tough. Queen g4, king goes to h8, rook b1 taking the open b file. Now there is also open d file here. Rook g8, rook b2, rook b8, rook b1, and now rook d1 trading operation. So if king g2, now black will simply take next rook. So takes, and now h4. f5, queen f4, and now we'll start talking about king safety, because yes, it's not something that really bothers black here, but potentially, let's say, queen f5 right now is a threat, and generally, if there are some types of like small threats, black eventually can blunder something. So king g7 was played. Now queen f5 doesn't win a rook because queen f6, protecting it, so there is no danger at all. e4 takes, queen g4 check, king goes to h8, now queen retakes, threatening some queen e8 checks, maybe queen f5. Now queen f5 is a threat for sure. Queen f6 was played, attacking f2, and now black start counterattacking instead. So what was played? Queen f3, attacking this pawn, protecting this pawn. Rook a2, queen c5, king g7, queen goes to e3, rook c2, attacking the pawn on c4. Now Pragg goes rook d4, and right now it starts being dangerous. because white's rook right now is being activated, and I was talking about it earlier when, yes, queen alone cannot checkmate the king, but if it gets help from rooks, it might create enough threats to be able to get that win. So h5 was played. h5 was played for the sole reason of protecting this g4 square from checks. King goes to g2, just small developing move. And can you imagine that in just 2 moves the game will end? So as you might see, the timing is already getting very, very close to 0. Of course, they have increments, and on this level, you know, they play well enough to still play good here. So a5 was played. First mistake, and now through f4, Maxime made a move which loses a game immediately. So queen e7 once again would have been a better option, but here again, just take on h5. The position is completely lost at this point. a5 and h5. That's why, like, let's say move like a5 doesn't make a lot of sense to me. There is rook e2, which I think on this level Maxime would find easily, but I'm not sure if he didn't like this, because that's just a simple trading operation, like rook e2, and like what white will do. Because now the problem here is, let's say this pawn will be under attack, so queen cannot go this way. It has to take or play rook g4, and if let's say this happens, this is just a draw. And if rook g4 check first, which probably would have happened, this and queen f5, and still black shows some sign of life. But yeah, definitely tough to play, but it's definitely possible to hold this endgame to a draw. So but a5, rook f4, and Maxime played queen c3, and I'll give you a chance to find the winning move here. It's not that hard, honestly. You just gotta use the weakness of the 7th rank, and specifically f7 pawn. And what's the best way to attack it? Of course, you don't go for different sacks, because after all you'll be down a rook, but you can slide your queen all the way up to a7, which was played by Pragg, and Maxime immediately admitted his loss. Just in 2 moves, a grandmaster, top level grandmaster, lost. Probably, yes, an unpleasant position, but still a holdable endgame. Queen a7, and it turns out there is no defense from f7. Queen f6 might be black's best choice. And yeah, there are not even any check. Let's say if we had queen c6 and queen goes to e8, yeah, then it's different talk, but unfortunately it is what it is. And Pragg won this huge event. So in the last round, actually, what happened was in round number 9, Alireza won against praggnanandhaa, and Maxime won against young Krzysztof Duda. So what happened was Maxime and Alireza both caught up with Pragg, and then we had a tiebreak between 3 players, and yeah, actually it was between 3 players. So Alireza made 2 draws, Pragg won 1 game and a draw, and Maxime lost and made a draw and came 3rd after the tiebreaks. And Pragg is the winner of the first Classical Grand Chess Tour event in 2025. That's it from me. Hope you enjoyed this recaps. Let me know in the comments any feedback you might have regarding this recaps, if you want to see more in the future, because there are some big events coming up in late August, I believe. There's World Cup, then we'll have Grand Swiss, and just a lot of fun events I want to actually get on my channel. So hope you enjoyed. I'll see you in the next videos. Bye bye.